Preface and Chronology to John Brown. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. John Brown by W.E. Burghardt Du Bois. To the memory of Elizabeth. Preface. After the work of Sanborn, Hinton, Connolly, and Redpath, the only excuse for another life of John Brown is an opportunity to lay new emphasis upon the material which they have so carefully collected, and to treat these facts from a different point of view. The viewpoint adopted in this book is that of the little-known, but vastly important, inner development of the Negro American. John Brown worked not simply for black men, he worked with them, and he was a companion of their daily life, knew their faults and virtues, and felt, as few white Americans have felt, the bitter tragedy of their lot. The story of John Brown, then, cannot be complete unless due emphasis is given this phase of his activity. Unfortunately, however, few written records of these friendships and this long-continued intimacy exist, so that little new material along these lines can be adduced. For the most part, one must be content with quoting the authors mentioned, and I have quoted them freely, and other writers like Anderson, Fanshawe, Barry, Hunter, Boteler, Douglas, and Hamilton. But even in the absence of special material, the great broad truths are clear, and this book is at once a record of and a tribute to the man who, of all Americans, has perhaps come nearest to touching the real souls of black folk. W.E. Burghardt Du Bois. Chronology. Boyhood and Youth. 1800. John Brown is born in Torrington, Connecticut, May 9th. Attempted insurrection of slaves under Gabriel in Virginia in September. 1805. The family migrates to Ohio. 1812. John Brown meets a slave boy. 1816. He joins the church. 1819. He attends school at Plainfield, Massachusetts. The Tanner. 1819 to 1825. John Brown works as a tanner at Hudson, Ohio. 1821. He marries Dianthe Lusk, June 21st. 1822. Attempted slave insurrection in South Carolina in June. 1825 to 1835. He works as a tanner at Randolph, Pennsylvania, and is postmaster. 1831. Nat Turner's insurrection in Virginia, August 21st. 1832. His first wife dies, August 10th. 1833. He marries Mary Ann Day, July 11th. 1834. He outlines his plans for Negro education, November 21st. 1835 to 1840. He lives in and near Hudson, Ohio, and speculates in land. 1837. He loses heavily in the Panic. 1839. He and his family swear blood feud with slavery. 1840. He surveys Virginia lands for Oberlin College and proposes buying 1,000 acres. The Shepherd. 1841. John Brown begins sheep farming. 1842. He goes into bankruptcy. 1843. He loses 4 children in September. 1844. He forms the firm of Perkins and Brown, wool merchants. 1845 to 51. He is in charge of the Perkins and Brown warehouse, Springfield, Ohio. 1846. Gerrit Smith offers Adirondack Farms to Negroes, August 1st. 1847. Frederick Douglass visits Brown and hears his plan for a slave raid. 1849. He goes to Europe to sell wool and visits France and Germany, August and September. 1849, first removal of his family to North Elba, New York. 1850, the new fugitive slave law is passed. 1851 to 1854, winding up of the wool business. 1851, he founds the League of Gileadites, January 15th. In Kansas. 1854, Kansas and Nebraska Bill becomes a law, May 30th. 5 sons start for Kansas in October. 1855, John Brown at the Syracuse Convention of Abolitionists in June. He starts for Kansas with a 6th son and his son-in-law in September. 2 sons take part in the Big Springs Convention in September. John Brown arrives in Kansas October 6th. He helps to defend Lawrence in December. 1856. He attends a mass meeting at Osawatomie in April. He visits Buford's camp in May. The sacking of Lawrence, May 21st. The Potawatomi murders, May 23rd through 26th. Arrest of 2 sons, May 28th. Battle of Blackjack, June 2nd. Goes to Iowa with his wounded son-in-law and joins Lane's army, July and August. Joins in attacks to rid Lawrence of surrounding forts, August. Battle of Osawatomie, August 30th. Missouri's last invasion of Kansas, September 15th. Geary arrives and induces Brown to leave Kansas, September. Brown starts for the East with his sons, September 20th. The Abolitionist. 1857, John Brown is in Boston in January. He attends the New York meeting of the National Kansas Committee in January. Before the Massachusetts legislature in February. Tours New England to raise money, March and April. Contracts for 1,000 pikes in Connecticut. 1857, he starts west, May. He is at Tabor, Iowa, August and September. He founds a military school in Iowa, December. 1858, John Brown returns to the East, January. He is at Frederick Douglass's house, February. He reveals his plan to Sanborn in February. He is in Canada, April. Forbes Disclosures, May. Chatham Convention, May 8th through 10th. Hamilton's Massacre in Kansas, May 19th. Plans postponed, May 20th. John Brown starts west, June 3rd. He arrives in Kansas, June 25th. He is in South Kansas, cooperating with Montgomery, July through December. The raid into Missouri for slaves, December 20th. The Harper's Ferry Raid. 1859, John Brown starts with fugitives for Canada, January 20th. He arrives in Canada, March 12th. He speaks in Cleveland, March 23rd. Last visit of John Brown to the East, April and May. He starts for Harper's Ferry, June. He and 3 companions arrive at Harper's Ferry, July 3rd. He gathers 22 men and munitions, June to October. He starts on the foray, Sunday, October 16th at 8 p.m. The town and arsenal are captured, Monday, October 17th at 4 a.m. Gathering of the militia, Monday, October 17th at 7 a.m. to 12 meridian. Brown's party is hemmed in, Monday, October 17th at 12 meridian. He withdraws to the engine house, Monday, October 17th at 12 meridian. Kagi's party is killed and captured, Monday, October 17th at 3 p.m. Lee and 100 Marines arrive, Monday, October 17th at 12 p.m. Brown is captured, October 18th at 8 a.m. 1859, Preliminary examination, October 25th. Trial at Charleston, then Virginia, now West Virginia, October 27th through November 4th. 40 days in prison, October 16th through December 2nd. Execution of John Brown at Charleston, December 2nd. Burial of John Brown at North Elba, New York, December 8th. End of chronology.